Hey guys! As you know, we are switching curriculums. We are moving from Life Church, where we use Connect HQ and the Loop, and we're going to a new curriculum, and it is called Hi-Fi. So that's why I want to make this video for you guys. I want you guys to understand the curriculum a little bit and how you can really just share the gospel message with kids. First, I want to start off with why we're doing this. Well, when I took over this position, my position changed in January, and now I'm the Thriving Families pastor. It kind of broadened a bit. So now I'm kind of overseeing kids ministry, youth ministry, young adults, parents, and just making sure all of those align with Summit and our vision and our goals. And some of it I'm more hands-on, like with kids ministry and with parents, but youth and young adults, Emily's that takes care of that, and I just kind of connect with her and make sure that we're all aligned. Well, when I was looking through our Summit Kids materials and I was looking at the curriculum, what we're using, and I was talking to you guys, I got a lot of feedback. And I just was kind of unhappy with some of the ways that our curriculum, what it was providing for our kids, because I feel like our kids could really use and engage with more. What I was hearing was, one, the videos were just too long. They were like 20-minute videos, 17 to 20 minutes. It's hard for kids to stay engaged. Some kids are engaged, some aren't. We were using two kinds of curriculum for the Trekkers and Trailblazers, and there's the flip-flop going on. So after talking with Pastor Chris and trying to think through everything, we decided to do the room split, as you guys know, really separating and giving their own name, their own individuality to the Trekkers and to the Trailblazers. But also, I really wanted to make sure that we had curriculum that is set up, that sets up our kids for success, where they can really learn about what God's doing, where they can really feel connected, they can engage with the material, and I feel like we could do a lot more with that. Before, we were getting parent cards some weeks. Some weeks we had a memory verse, some weeks we didn't. When we did have a memory verse, it would change. And that's really hard for kids to memorize, especially when we only get them in the classroom for 1 hour a week. So, looking through, I was ready to press go on a different curriculum after I met with you guys at that team meeting. But then I came across this the very next day. I was looking through and I was like, I'm just going to give it a look just to make sure I covered all my options. And I saw it and I was blown out of the water. The reason why I didn't know about it is because I didn't realize it came out last summer. So it's brand new curriculum and it's really cool material. One reason why I love it is it's very easy to put together. Everything's downloadable. They do all the presentations for you and everything. You just download and drop it. It's really cool. But even more so is it really connects with who we are as Summit and our vision, and it aligns with it like perfectly. One of the things they do in Hi-Fi is they realize that we live in a post-Christian culture. When I was going to church, when I was growing up, I would go 2 to 3 times a week, and it was just kind of the thing that you did, right? Now we're lucky if we get kids there once a week, and you can't really assume that every kid that comes in has some sort of Christian background. When I was growing up, you just kind of assumed that was the case, but nowadays it's just not. People are all over the map in their beliefs. But that's also where kids are getting their identity. Since it's not a Christian culture, we can't assume that they're finding their identity in Christ or anything like that. So they're really grabbing their identity from what the world is saying is important. And at Hi-Fi and their curriculum, they realize this, that it's a post-Christian culture, and they really want to make the gospel accessible to everyone. So what you'll find is each week in the curriculum, it doesn't matter if you went to church last week or you haven't gone in a year or you've never been before. They really set up the environment so that kids can come, they have a time to connect, to feel included, they can start engaging with the material, they can ask questions, and they get that gospel message. And we're going to provide for that for them every week. So I'm going to get started. You guys get a little bit of a background of why we're moving forward with this curriculum. And now I want to show you a little bit about what it's about. And then we'll get into what it looks like for you. You guys know that we are splitting Trekkers and Trailblazers. So I'm going to get in more specifics on that in just a minute. But first, Hi-Fi. Typically, this is what you get when you go to a church. And we have curriculum for the kids. They hear the gospel message, they're expected to believe in it, and don't forget, share it with your friends. And that's been okay, but it doesn't really work with where our culture is at currently. So at Hi-Fi, this is what they try to do. First, they help kids feel like they're welcomed. They're here. How scary is it when you go to a new church for the first time? You don't have any friends or anything. They want to create an atmosphere where they can feel connected. So they have special time at the very beginning, a connect time for that, where they can listen and engage, they can understand and increase what they know about God. They start to believe on this journey as we offer the gospel message to them. They're able to grow and then reach others. So it's kind of a longer process, a little bit more drawn out. They have an outsider-in methodology. So this means that we're not necessarily, we're assuming that they're an outsider when they come, right? And then they work their way into the spot where they feel comfortable to engage with God. So they're, first they want to feel comfortable, right? They want to feel like they're included. Then they start to participate, right? They get a little bit of action going. That's when they can start to learn. And then they start to ask the questions that are the most important, that really affect their lives. So first thing here, they want to make sure that we make no assumptions. Never assume a child has been to church. Never assume a child has ever read or believes in the Bible. Never assume a child is comfortable at church, and never assume a child is ready to learn. This is a different approach than a lot of times I feel like we've taken, because we go every single week, right? Or we go most of the weeks of the month. So we kind of go in with this idea that kids should expect that. But we have to start with a new assumption that you assume that they don't know anything and that they're not ready to learn. And then that way we can work towards helping them feel comfortable and included and having fun and create an atmosphere where they can learn. Their scope and sequence. This is 12 truths that they go throughout the whole year. Truths like, I am known, I am forgiven, I'm made for community. They're all truths about who God has created us to be. So we find our identity in Christ. And with each truth, you're going to have your monthly lessons line up with that truth, and you'll have different Bible stories line up with that truth. Now, it's not in sequence like the Gospel Project used to be, but each one will connect to it. And what's really cool is that it's the same types of truths for our smaller kids. So the younger brothers and sisters are learning the same types of things, but at their own level. Instead of, I am designed for a purpose, it's, God has a plan for me. God knows me. God forgives me. So all of our kids are learning the same types of things at the same time, but at their own level, which I love. I think it's amazing. You'll see something that looks like this. First Sunday of the month, we're going to be sending these home. This is your month at a glance. It helps the parents to know what's going on in the classroom. They get to know the month's truth. I am loved. They get to know the month's verse, the same verse every single week. They get to know the month's theme, no limits. So I'm loved, but there's no limits to how much I'm loved, right? The breakdown of the month. Week 1, God's love never gives up. Week 2, God's love is for everyone. God's love is powerful. God's love gives me hope. It's really cool how it all just aligns, and it tells you the stories of each one, like the lost son or the Good Samaritan. And then they have week 5, and week 5 is what they call their Game Changer Sunday. So these are going to be Sunday fun days for us. We might be pulling in some of these games for the Game Changer Sundays. So if you ever hear these words used, these are the roles that we're going to be going through in their curriculum. They have the host and the team time leaders. Basically, the host is like our main teacher, and team time leaders are small group leaders. And our church is a little bit smaller, so our main teacher and our junior helpers, they're going to be small group leaders at the same time. The session flow is going to look something like this. We don't have every part in every week because they give us 2 hours worth of material, which we only need an hour's worth of material. But every week it's going to start with some sort of connect time. There might be an activity, or it might just be questions to get to know the kids, like a would you rather question, or what was the best thing that happened to you this week. We'll give you some prompts so that you guys can engage with kids a little bit more. During this connect time, there might be an activity for the group so that people can get to know each other, especially in the Trekkers room. However, in the Trailblazers room, at 10:30, you guys will go to the worship sanctuary so that you guys can all worship with the adults and with the youth. And then you'll come in right after worship and you'll continue the lesson. So there's connect time. It'll go into large group, and that will be the countdown and the host welcome. And again, that's going to be more for the Trekker side. And there might be a large group game depending on the time frame. There's going to be a host intro video. So there's going to be an intro video, and you're going to get the Bible lesson video. The intro video is about 2 minutes, kind of gives you the idea for the theme, and it's kind of fun. And then there's the video lesson, and that one's maybe around 7 minutes long. So you don't have this really long, drawn-out 20-minute video like we used to have. And then we're going to have there's going to be the big truth and it's going to go on to the theme verse. We have a theme verse video for the kids so that they can start to learn the verse throughout the whole month. Now, in the Trekkers room, you guys, they can say their memory verse and they get coins for it. In the Trailblazers room, we have a different reward system that we're going to go over, but they can also earn points for memorizing the verse. Then it goes into team time, and this is what they call making the discovery. This is their small group. Their small group question. So if you ever hear it say, make the discovery or something like that, this is honestly the place where the kids can discover the questions that they have about God, that they have about Jesus, about their own lives and how it applies, and where you as a leader can really interact with these kids and really help them to grasp who God is in their life. And this time, they're going to need their Bibles. So bringing a Bible to church won't just be you bring it just to bring it, right? It's bring it because you're going to open it, you're going to read it, you're going to get into it. For the Trekkers, you're probably going to have to help them a little bit more because some of them can't read yet, right? Some of the maybe second graders, third graders can read a little bit more. And then you get over to the Trailblazers. They know how to read. You're going to be helping them to find passages and verses, help them look up the books in the Bible and that kind of thing, get them familiar with it. And then it's going to get into, if there's time, there will be an activity that relates to the material that you've been learning. So I'd say about half the time there is, half the time there won't be, but we will have the small group questions. And then they will have a take-home activity sheet like we used to back when we had the Gospel Project. Again, for Trekkers, they can earn coins for this. They get 15 coins if they bring a completed activity sheet. They can do it that day in class, or they can bring it back the next week, and that works too. For the Trailblazers, they're going to have an activity sheet, and it's the same kind of thing, and they can get points for their trail markers for it. Again, we'll go over that in just a minute. This is just talking about the connect time. It's just saying that it helps students to feel comfortable building relationships with each other and with the leaders. So remember, the first part of the day, connect. Then it goes into large group time when you have your lesson, and it has the theme verse. And then team time is where you really dive into those questions. So it takes you into this larger process so that no matter who you are, you could come in, you can start to connect to people, get to a place where you're comfortable learning, and then you can ask big questions. Game Changer Sunday. Like I mentioned, this is going to be like a bigger game day. You know, sometimes we do themes, like we'll have a water play day or something like that, but they always give the gospel message. It's high energy. They give lots of games. So we might be using some of that material for Game Changer Sunday. So then that gets into the smaller kids and we don't need that. So let me pull over here, exit out of it. And now I'm going to show you guys what the material is going to look like for you. So let's go to output on you guys, it's audience. So connect time. So this is the game for this week. It's linked. So there's going to be a game and you'll have the materials for that game. And you'll have different slides for the different games. They kind of give it all to me, so I just literally download it and drop it in, which is amazing that they give that. Remarkable. So this is the theme for this actual month, for the month of June, is remarkable. I'm remarkably made. Let's see. Okay. This is going to be the intro video here. Kind of silly, fun.
Welcome to the Remarkably Made Art Gallery.
You can see them, they're alive.
I'm so glad you're here.
So you'll just do the space bar, you'll continue through the slides. It'll be highlighted in yellow on your sheet for when you need to use a slide on there or if there's a video. So always if there's something yellow, that means you need to press the space bar and it'll go to the next thing. This is their main video. Again, it's about 5 to 7 minutes. And then it has with the verse passages. And here we go. I want to show you guys this. This is the gospel message that you'll present each week. So you have Make the Discovery, but this one is called, let me find it just to make sure, Make the Connection. You're going to have 3 circles, and you're going to be able to present this gospel message each week. So first you have the earth. God made everything, and it was perfect. He made us, and he made this plan, and it was a beautiful plan, but something happened, and we sinned, right? It went into chaos. The world went into chaos. We decided to make choices apart from God, and it broke this relationship with God. And God didn't want it to stay that way. So what did he do? He sent Jesus. He sent his own son to come and to take the burden of our sin, of everything that we've done wrong. He took the burden of it so that we can be connected with God again. This little slide here, you'll have instructions on what to say for each of those. For the first part, the second part, and the third part. But we want to present the gospel message to these kids each week so they really internalize it and they really get it. But again, as you guys are going through the material, if you want to read through the material and you want to summarize it, that's okay. If you want to read through it and you want to read it word for word to the kids, that's okay too. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable. We just want to make sure that we get the content across. So then sliding through.
And welcome to the Remarkably Made Art Gallery.
That's the outro. We have our verse here, and then you have a verse video that goes with it, or you guys might say it on your own. That's the song. And that song is going to be for trekkers because you're going to actually get your worship song after the message. So this is something that's a little bit different with Hi-Fi, is because they consider worship to be kind of an insider activity. And if you're coming to a church and it's new and there's like dancing and singing and it feels kind of awkward, you may not want to participate in worship. But if you get to know kids first, you have that connect time, you get into the Bible verse and everything, and you start to get more comfortable, then if you do worship, it's a little bit different because you feel more comfortable than you did before. So they put worship at the end. For the Trailblazers, this is different because we'll be in the service during the worship portion. Make the discovery, that was when we have our small group time, and then you have the activity page, which you'll send home with the kids every single week. And then they just have the main screen that you could keep up. Let's see. So this part's going to be for the Trailblazers. We have the new room. You're in there for the worship. You come back out and you're going to get into your message, your small group questions, your games. But something that's really cool that we're introducing is a new reward system. We're not going to have the store anymore for our Trailblazers. They're getting a little bit older. When they get to middle school, they're not going to have the store, right? That's not something that they do. So we came up with a different kind of system. There's going to be a sheet, and it's your trail markers sheet. They can get trail markers each time that they do one of the activities. It's like bring your Bible, memorize the verse, complete an activity page. And once they get, I believe it's 12 trail markers, they get to pick a gift card. And they're going to have gift cards for like Jamba Juice and Homespun and Target. And I'm trying to remember all the places that they wanted in and out. We're going to get them gift cards and they get to choose one of those. Also, there's a larger group reward system. This one's for the whole class. So that one's kind of your individual self, right? The next one for the whole class is the peak party jar. It's going to be empty. It's going to have a couple of ping pong balls in it. You're going to have a second jar where kids can take a ping pong ball and put it in. They get to put this in when they invite a friend. If they invite a friend, they put in a ping pong ball. If their friend comes, it's their first time, they put in a ping pong ball. If they participate and you notice, man, this kid's really participating, have them put in a ping pong ball. We want to honor participation because it really helps the group as a whole. It helps them to move forward. If they do an act of kindness or an act of service, so we don't have the same volunteer system that we did before where they had the badges, right? The coin counter and things like that. Rather, when you see them do something for somebody else, they give up their game because somebody else has been waiting. That's an act of kindness right there. When they help someone else out to find the Bible verse in the Bible, that's an act of kindness. I want you to try to aim for, if you can, about 5-ish extra balls a month to put in inside of the jar, or balls on your week. Try to add in 5 a week into the jar. And that'll make it about 2-ish months before they get a peak party. At their peak party, they're going to have some sort of fun treat and extra games. So it's going to be kind of like an extra game Sunday, and they're going to have like popsicles or popcorn or some extra fun treat than they would normally have. And this is like a group reward system. Well, that's pretty much all I have. It's fairly similar to what we did before, but there are a lot of different elements and a lot of elements that I really think will help our kids to connect more to each other, connect more to God, and really start to ask those really big questions. If you have any questions for me, please ask me, reach out to me, ask Brooke. She's also helping me to prepare the material, so she might be able to answer a lot of the questions for you. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get comfortable with this, and I know you're gonna do awesome. I know that you're gonna rock it, and that more kids are gonna know God because of you and because of the impact you're having on their lives.